Well, folks, let me tell you what happened yesterday. Oh, Bush told the UN to screw off, which I think is good, but he's still passive-aggressive, you know what I mean? Comes out there, he's like shaking like a leaf. Now, I agree with Kofi Annan what he said. We were preemptive. I mean, we only waited 12 years. That was premature and impulsive. And 12 years is not a long time, especially if you're one of the Iraqis. Millions are being tortured and put in mass graves that we keep finding everywhere. The mass graves are obviously not as bad as our country, violating the UN, an organization that let Rwanda, Bosnia, Sierra Leone, all these atrocities. You guys couldn't break up a pillow fight between the Olsen twins. But in fairness, who would want to? I mean, you know, it's got a certain tinge. Well, but seriously, you've ignored more atrocities than Paula Abdul and Randy Jackson. And we're kind of like Simon Cowell. People don't like us, we're arrogant, but the truth is the truth, you know? The next big article was people afraid about Bush wanting to give money to faith-based programs because they might violate church and state separation. That's true. Like the federal government, you mean, using tax money to pay for a Muslim chaplain in Guantanamo Bay to give religious counsel to the Islamic extremists? Yeah. Couldn't you send down like a guitar teacher? I don't think they need really emphasis on religion. They seem to have gotten that part correct. They don't really, I don't know. Now they're saying that he's connected, that guy was James Yee, by the way, connected to Ahmed I-Halabi, a translator for the Air Force, who's on his way to Syria with some information when he got arrested. Now, what is our country coming to when you can't trust our military secrets with a guy named Ahmed I-Halabi? I don't know. Well, Air Force leaders at the Pentagon have ignored more than 140 sexual assaults on female cadets in the past decade. Maybe they need that Muslim translator to tell them no means no. I don't know. Well, what do you guys think? Why is this story, what is it that this story took so long to come out, Greg?
Probably for the same reason it took us 18 hours to fly back from Guantanamo Bay on our USO tour, which is that the government is military is a giant bureaucratic monster that doesn't move very quickly, and also because a lot of those women were asking for it.
Whoa, I see.
I think the real disgrace here is that somebody didn't tape it, you know? Cadets gone wild, that would be fantastic.
He's from Australia, that's how they think.
Well, you know what, we're making such a big deal about it, and it is a big deal, but it's widespread. It's not just the Air Force, it's all the college campuses. You're not just talking about women, you're talking about, you know, hazing where guys are ramming broomsticks up pledges' butts to get into the fraternity. I think we should do, you know.
What the hell is it? Well, why is it so prevalent then? Why would that kind of thing exist?
I think probably not enough study time.
Yeah, to idle hands, the devil's workshop. Richard?
I think we live in a very macho culture, and when you're in the military, see what I mean by macho?
Rene got me these.
No, I think that the military and in the sports world, for some reason, men feel that they don't have to go through the niceties of civil discourse with women, and it's a problem.
What, like asking them out?
Like asking them out and asking them if they want to do something that they don't want to do, and then
well,
doing it anyway.
How about just some date rape drugs? You know, just some date rape drugs. Why not that? I mean, why do they, you know, it's one of those things.
But this case in particular was extreme. I mean, we're not just talking about just general sexual harassment. They said 1 out of 5 women in this academy claims, or, you know, says that she was sexually... You look good.
This is why I came on this show, because of the serious discussion of our current issues, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's a numbers game.
He's right, 1 out of 5 is a high percentage.
1 out of 5, I mean, they really, 1 out of 5... 1 out of 5, they should probably, they should get it to like 1 out of 7. That sounds like a better...
More than national average? Well,
yeah, it's just more of a...
Well, what do you guys think?
Number.
Don't you think it's a little freaky? 1 out of 5 is a lot.
Yeah, but how many women in the Air Force?
What are you trying to say?
7 women.
Oh, okay. 5 in Australia. Do they still have an army? I like Australia. I'll tell you why. Because they always back us up. I know they're drunk and they don't know, they're probably in a blackout when they do it, but anytime we have a war, you guys are right there. Do you still wear those crazy hats? Or?
Yeah.
Isn't rape legal in Australia or something?
Everything's legal in Australia.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like the Old West.
Yeah, exactly. We ride kangaroos to school, yeah.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's not true.
It is.
That's not true.
Hey, don't
Let me ask you
cover.
this, but it is like a macho culture, right? They think everything's fruity and it's like 1940, right?
Exactly. Yeah, well, not quite that, hip, but we've got a few. It's a cool place. Yeah, it's a cool place. We get a tough crowd down there.
We We do?
Yeah,
Tough crowd, tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
Yeah.
Tough crowd.
Well, it's a former penal colony. It's a tough audience.
Yeah. So it's Irish criminals settled down
Well, that's
there.
sort of the difference between us and you. We began as a penal colony and then evolved, and you guys sort of came here as pilgrims and turned into a penal colony.
Hey, wait a minute. Whoa. Hey, man, wait a minute. Hey, I did not come here as a pilgrim. My people came as slaves. We worked our way over here, all right?
That's true.
It was the white people that came for the free ride. Hey.
Now listen, the White House has awarded $30 million in grants to religious faith-based programs, okay? Now, is there really a danger? People are having a heart attack. Is there really a danger with this, Rene? Let me ask you.
Well, my dad's a Pentecostal preacher. I wouldn't give religious-based people anything because they. I'm sorry. Look at preachers. I mean, at least black preachers. Look how they got nice cars. They got the best cars you ever seen. They're wearing Armani suits. They look like holy pimps. I mean, I wouldn't trust them with any kind of money. And they got little slush funds for their baby mama. Yes, they do, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Yes, they do.
Now, this is a blatant. This faith-based initiative thing is a blatant violation of the separation of church and state. And I'm all for giving the church money, especially since they've used all theirs on sex abuse litigation.
That's right. The coffers are getting a little low.
But
You're right.
It's a blatant violation. And the worst part about it all really is that it shows the way the Bush administration, sort of the arrogant way that it's exercising power, which is they're not even going through Congress. They're just by executive order saying, look, we're now going to use this money to give out federal funds to church institutions, which nobody authorized, nobody voted for.
Well, they won't be around much longer.
Why don't we just give all the money to the Mormons and teach the kids that polygamy is a good thing?
I like the way you think.
Right.
Again, all I'm saying is this. Look, the bottom line is don't act like in this country's culture you have a bunch of people that are always willing to go, yeah, those crazy fundamentalists. But then if you say anything about
if they weren't crazy.
But if you don't say anything about Islam, they go, oh, hey, wait a minute, that's a people's religion. Why don't you stop? That's in bad taste. It's only an isolated few.
Hang out with.
I'm talking about the media. The whole country's like that.
We're not talking about fundamentalist Christians here. We're talking about taking $20 billion in federal funds.
Million.
No, it's $20 billion.
It's $30 million.
The $30 million is used for a program to decide to recruit these churches to apply for the $20 billion that's available. So what?
Why can't
Why don't we have government? Why do we have to rely on the churches to do it?
Right.
Because the church, you guys act like the church has been up to corrupt. Because they're the only when you give money to that might actually do some good for poor people. That's why.
But what have they done with
the government's
money
role.
they have?
All I'm saying is, I want everyone just to admit one thing.
Sure.
Or we're not going to commercial. Admit that as organizations go, most religious organizations do more good than any other stupid fake club organizations around the world.
That's a naive, sweeping...
Folks, if you don't watch commercials today, you won't feel nostalgic when we have a special on commercials 20 years from now. Remember that. We'll be right back. Okay. We're going to talk about conspiracy theories because Belzer has a book about them, and also because you want to talk about conspiracy theories. It says sugar daddy. This is not a sugar daddy in a box. They got some stupid banana thing. That's not a conspiracy? All right, look. The JFK assassination, the Men in Black, the fake landing on the moon, and Roswell. Let's start with Roswell. Now, tell us what happened in Roswell according to the conspiracy part.
In 1947, July 6th, a strange craft hovered over... No. Actually, what happened, something did happen. Something clearly crashed there. Some people think that it was an alien ship and bodies were retrieved. There are some contemporaneous witnesses who would testify to that. But in the subsequent years, the story has changed many times, and the government has said that it was nothing, and then they said it was a weather balloon, then they said it was crash dummies that fell from the sky. But that was 5 years later. So they said people have screwed up memories. They remembered something in 1952 that they thought happened in 1947. What's not helping this, and I'll finish in a second. You have time, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. No, what's not helping this is that the government, if there were aliens or not, the point is the government has changed their story in such bizarre ways so many times that it's an incredibly suspicious incident.
Yeah, but don't you also think it's, even if there were aliens, they did a good job. Nobody's messed with us since 1947. They killed them. It worked.
They must have been like the retarded.
No, they taught us, they gave us Velcro.
Can I just ask you something?
Yeah.
What does Norton's headshot have to do with conspiracy?
Norton! That does look like Norton at 65, you're right.
When I get older.
But it actually happened in 52.
Yes, 47, 51. Does anyone else believe in any of these things?
No.
What about, what?
Well, I just don't think any of these...
Oi!
Hey! Yeah, come on, mate. No, I don't understand these conspiracy theories. Like, you know, JFK, he didn't get shot. You know what happened? He's in the car. You've seen the film. His wife's nagging. His head just exploded. It wasn't... That's what happened.
Hey, listen. We don't go to your country to make fun of Paul Hogan. Right. Listen.
And Elvis is not alive. Trust me, if he was alive, he would never let his daughter be out singing that crap or dating Michael Jackson. I'm telling you that.
Let me tell you something else. Keep it up. We're going to make fun of Midnight Oil.
Well, the problem with all these conspiracy theories is, first of all, on the one, people who are prone to believe in conspiracy theories, especially when it comes to the government, is that on the one hand they attribute these qualities to the government of being evil and manipulative and secretive and brilliant, but they also tend to be the people who believe the government's inept and inefficient. I mean, you have to be some kind of genius to keep these things secret over all the years.
Belzer? Is that he pointing the finger at you?
These are obviously people who are ill-informed and ill-read. The government has done many conspiracies that they've gotten away with that have been revealed over time. They tested medicine on people for years, as you know, the Tuskegee thing.
That's true. I'm with you on that, brother.
They release toxins into the subways. No, I mean, they've been doing, and when it's revealed, we say, oh, you know, that they're stupid and they couldn't do it. They
Crack in the hood.
They can keep secrets. They have kept secrets.
Exactly. So you're saying that
secrets up to a point, but not on a level of faking a lunar landing.
So then you would
like
say that you would be more inclined to believe a group of like Nazis in Idaho when they said there's a Jewish banking or media conspiracy. You think they have a good point too?
Isn't there? Who's your boss?
Oh no, you leave Cy.
Who's your boss?
Leave Cy out of this.
Now,
But wait, I have the men in black though.
What's wrong with the Jewish people running banking and?
The fact of the matter is,
Hey, you know what? As long as they get black people loans, hey, let them own the banks. We can care less.
I mean, so many of these kind of conspiracies that all the UFO stuff. They say, well, these people are kept quiet by these mysterious men in black that show up and
right.
And these men in black are supposedly these genius beings, whoever the hell they are. But on the one hand, they supposedly killed Beethoven, and yet Justin Timberlake roams the earth freely.
Where's the justice?
Like his music.
Where's the justice?
James.
Yeah.
You had something to talk about. Your subject today was you feel like the obsession with Ben and Jen that bothers you?
Just come to this country and all I see is Ben and Jen. Like they follow Ben and Jen. Any paparazzi can find Ben and Jen. You guys can't find Bin Laden? Why don't you send the paparazzi? You know?
Good point.
The paparazzi going for Bin Laden is not a bad idea.
Good point.
That would be a good idea to send them hunting for them.
Yeah, exactly.
To do them good, to give them some spiritual,
Exactly.
I like that idea. You're a real solution guy. Yeah. But let me ask you something. No, I mean that. But
that's right.
Honestly, if either you get Kylie Minogue out of here, or we're going to do it for you.
Listen,
enough is enough.
Listen.
Enough is enough.
You guys embraced the crocodile hunter and all of these other people, all right? We looked at the crocodile hunter and went, this guy's a lunatic. Get him out of here. And you went, no, he's awesome.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Every Australian comic I've ever seen has 20-minute crocodile hunter chunk.
Oh, they love him. Now, Greg, speaking of overseas action, what about this David Blaine thing? You feel like there's something behind that besides just a...
Well, explain what it is for those that don't know.
I don't like to waste people's time for this question.
Well, it's actually just something that's more amusing me than anything else. It's this David Blaine guy who's a magician. Although this thing that he's hanging himself in a lucite box in London for 40. Plans on making it 44 days without eating.
Right.
And people are saying, well, that's not really magic, as if the other crap is really magic. But he plans on suspending himself there for 44 days without eating, and the supposedly urbane and sophisticated Brits are pelting him with eggs and hitting him with golf balls. And my favorite thing is there was a guy who actually used a remote control helicopter to fly a cheeseburger right up to his nose.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, Rene, let's talk about this Seattle coffee tax. What do you have against it? Are you from Seattle?
No, I'm not from Seattle. I'm from San Francisco, but we drink coffee as well. Right. But they try to get them to take 10%. The coffee drinkers were supposed to bear the burden for some sort of, money.
Education.
Well, wait a minute. Why just the coffee drinkers? There are other people who consume addictive substances. Why not the crackheads?
I mean,
crack babies. We know they got kids. They got crack babies. And it's been shown that the crack babies are going to be stupid. They should be putting it to the pot right now. That's what I think. Don't put all this on the coffee drinkers.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
France.
Yes.
What's going on? What's with the attitude towards
the thing is,
he spends a lot of time in France.
Yeah, I have a house in France, and the French. Thank you for your intelligence. Let me respond to that, sir. When the French get up in the morning, the first thing they do with their coffee is they have a drink. They drink alcohol. They go to lunch. They have a They have a 2-hour lunch, and they drink. First, before the dinner, they have the drink, the aperitif, then they have 3-4 glasses of wine, 5 glasses of wine, have another drink, then another shooter.
Right.
By the time they go back to work, they're so f***ed up they don't know where they are. Why do we care what they say? They're drunk.
It's true. But they might want
the best scenery, the best food, the art.
They might want to have time in a drink thing for throwing a shower once in a while is all I'm saying, right?
No, they are a more sophisticated culture, as they always remind us, and they do have a more sophisticated social safety net, the kind that enables them to go to the Riviera and sun themselves in their ball hugger man thongs while their old people at home frying.
That's true. Not only poor old people in France. Mon Dieu. Qu'est-ce que vous êtes? I don't know.
We're just thinning. They're just thinning the herd. They're just thinning the herd.
I'm just gonna take
Folks,
that
what
right
separates
there.
us from animals is they don't have to watch commercials. Stay human and watch these. We'll be right back. There have been two major events unsolved that have bothered the American psyche for all these years. One, the Kennedy assassination. The other, the Tupac assassination. Tonight, I will lay it all out for you, okay? Now, the information we have is that Tupac Shakur was in a car driven by Suge Knight. A second car pulled up next to them and fired 13 shots, 4 hitting Tupac, 1 hitting Suge. Let's look at what happened that night, or what the Vegas police would have you believe happened. Notice the angle at which the bullets entered Tupac. The first one hit his right hand, then one in the right hip, the right thigh. The bullet that killed him, the right chest, near the armpit. Funny, isn't it? It was clearly a setup, a coup d'etat, shooting fish in a barrel. Now, this is where it gets more complicated. The car is moving down Las Vegas Boulevard. You've got Sheena Easton co-headlining at the Riv with Messina from Loggins and Messina. She had beef with Tupac because one time he accidentally said to her, "I love your music, Miss Benatar." Then, over at the Trop, you've got Danny Gans, the master of voices. He didn't like Tupac because the Death Row crew once started a ruckus at the end of his show and spoiled his big closer, where he does Al Pacino and Louis Armstrong getting Jimmy Stewart stoned. It's very funny. Now they look, they make a left. Right before the gunman pulls up, what the police don't want you to know is that Siegfried and Roy had just had a nasty fight over a Guatemalan busboy from the $1.99 buffet. Siegfried chased him down out of Caesars with an angry tiger that Roy had gotten fired for irritable bowel syndrome in '98. Apparently the tiger was scraping his butt across the floor when Roy would be trying to do the fire hoop. Well, let's look at the witnesses in Vegas that night. You got the fat lady from Wisconsin standing in front of Circus, wearing acid-wash jeans and a Camp Beverly Hills sweatshirt. 97, you know. 2 Tulsa salesmen in a rented Sebring fighting with a Rastafarian in front of the Luxor. Typical Vegas night. So I guess we'll never know what happened that night. We'll never solve Tupac's murder. And the Guatemalan busboy will never find out how he woke up that morning in Caesar's Fountain wearing a Tony the Tiger mask, naked, tied up with a silver lame German blood sausage stuffed up his butt, and a tattoo on the small of his back that said Deutschland über alles. But I guess it's true what the commercial says about Vegas. What happens there stays there. Or as that Guatemalan busboy would say, it's great.